Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kiran Bendigeri from Grafosyss IAS. In this video, let's have a look at 7th Standard Science 4th Chapter. Heat. We wear woolen clothes during winters when it is cold outside. Woolen clothes keep us warm. We prefer to wear light colored cotton clothes when it is hot. These give us a feeling of coolness. You might have wondered why particular types of clothes are suitable for a particular season. In winter, you feel cold inside the house. If you come out in the sun, you feel warm. In summer, you feel hot, even inside the house. So, these are the things you might have felt. In winter, you feel cold and all. If you come inside house, you feel warm. Low temperature, not too low, not too hot, right? In summer we feel hot outside and even inside also, and again it depends on the location where you live. Hot and cold. In our day-to-day life, we come across a number of objects. Some of them are hot and some of them are cold. Tea is hot and ice is cold. So nothing to explain here. We say that some objects are cold while some are hot. You also know that some objects are hotter than others while some are colder than others. A clinical thermometer consists of a long, narrow, uniform glass tube. It has a bulb at one end. This bulb contains mercury. Outside the bulb, a small shining thread of mercury can be seen. If you do not see the mercury thread, rotate the thermometer a bit till you see it. You will also find a scale on the thermometer. The scale we use is the Celsius scale, indicated by degree centigrade. Degree Celsius. A reliable measure of the hotness of an object is its temperature. Temperature is measured by a device called thermometer. So this is the old thermometer. This is the old clinical thermometer, in which there is a bulb at one side and it contains mercury, and there is also a scale on it. Depending on the temperature on which it is kept, the mercury level rises. Nowadays we are mostly using digital thermometers, so you may not get able to see these kind of thermometers, right? The other scale with the range 94 to 108 degrees is the Fahrenheit scale. It was in use earlier. So Fahrenheit scale, you might have heard about this one. The temperature of our body is 97 degree, 103 degree and all. It is actually Fahrenheit, right? It can't be Celsius. If it is Celsius 9700, then it is of boiling water temperature, right? Measuring temperature. The thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer reads temperature from 35 degrees centigrade to 42 degrees centigrade. So our body temperature ranges in between this only, usually of a normal human body. The temperature of every person may not be 37 degrees centigrade. It could be slightly higher or slightly lower. Actually, what we call normal temperature is the average body temperature of a large number of healthy persons. Remember this. 37 degree is the normal temperature. The clinical thermometer is designed to measure the temperature of human body only. The temperature of human body normally does not go below 35 degrees centigrade or above 42 degrees centigrade. That is the reason that this thermometer has the range 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So remember the range and average temperature, right? Caution: do not use a clinical thermometer for measuring the temperature of an object other than the human body. Also avoid keeping the thermometer in the sun or near a flame or else it will break. So do not use clinical thermometer to test the temperature of boiling water or any hot object which is in sunlight and all, or else it will break. Laboratory thermometer. How do we measure the temperature of other objects? For this purpose there are other thermometers. One such thermometer is known as the laboratory thermometer. The maximum and minimum temperatures of the previous day reported in weather reports are measured by a thermometer called the maximum minimum thermometer, right? So for a particular day there will be a maximum and minimum temperature. Maximum will be at afternoon and minimum will be at night. So this temperature is calculated using found out using maximum minimum thermometer. There is a lot of concern over the use of mercury in thermometers. Mercury is a toxic substance and is very difficult to dispose of if a thermometer breaks. These days digital thermometers are available which do not use mercury. So remember, mercury, it is a metal which is a liquid metal and also is a toxic substance, and these are used in thermometers. Nowadays people are using digital thermometers because it is difficult to dispose the broken mercury thermometer. Take a rod or flat strip of a metal, say of aluminium or iron. Fix a few small wax pieces on the rod. These pieces should be at nearly equal distances. Clamp the rod to a stand. If you do not find a stand, you can put one end of the rod in between bricks. Now heat the other end of the rod and observe. So this is a small activity which is given in the book. This may not be of much use. So it is mainly to find out the conduction of heat. The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as the conduction. In solids, generally the heat is transferred by the process of conduction. So conduction it is in solids. Remember, conduction, solids. The way the heat is transferred in solids is called conduction. So if we take a rod or something and put the one end in the sunlight or on the gas stove or fire, you can observe that heat is passing through that end to the end which you are holding. This is due to conduction. Transfer of heat. You might have observed that a frying pan becomes hot when kept on a flame. It is because the heat passes from the flame to the utensil. When the pan is removed from the fire, it slowly cools down. Why does it cool down? The heat is transferred from the pan to the surroundings. So you can understand that in both cases the heat flows from a hotter object to a colder object. Right? The heat flows from hotter object to a colder object. And in fact the water and air are poor conductors of heat. So this sentence has to come here, right? So this sentence has to come here. The materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are poor conductors of heat, such as plastic and wood. Poor conductors are known as insulators. Conductors which allow heat to pass through them. Insulators which do not allow heat to pass through them, like plastics, wood, etc. When water is heated, the water near the flames gets hot. Hot water rises up. The cold water from the sides move down towards the source of heat. This water also gets hot and rises, and water from the sides move down. This process continues till the whole water gets heated. This mode of heat transfer is known as convection. So remember this word. In liquid, convection. In solid, conduction. So in convection, the thing like water which is cold, it moves towards the hot source, and the hotted thing like water, it moves towards the other end, right? So this is convection. The air near the heat source gets hot and rises. The air from the sides come in to take its place. In this way the air gets heated. So this is the same thing. So please understand the convection. This word we are going to use it in geography also while studying about magma and all, right? Within the earth there is a magma layer, and there, due to convection process, the plates move and all. The people living in the coastal areas experience an interesting phenomenon. During the day, land gets heated faster than the water. The air over the land becomes hotter and rises up. The cooler area from the sea rushes in towards the land to take its place. The warm air from the land moves towards the sea to complete the cycle. The air from sea is called the sea breeze. To receive the cooler sea breeze, the windows of the houses in coastal areas are made to face the sea. At night it is exactly the reverse. The water cools down more slowly than the land. So the cool air from the land moves towards the sea. This is called the land breeze. So understand these two things, sea breeze and land breeze. Sea breeze is the one in which the cool air moves from sea to land. Land breeze from land to sea. And water cools down more slowly than the land. These are the 3 points you have to remember. Sea breeze, land breeze, and water cools down more slowly than the land. Remember, it cannot reach us by conduction or convection, as there is no medium such as air in most part of the space between the earth and the sun. So in between earth and sun there is no medium like air or water, anything like that. From the sun the heat comes to us by another process known as radiation. So this is another thing: conduction, convection, and radiation. Radiation The heat comes from sun to earth. The transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. It can take place whether a medium is present or not. When we sit in front of a room heater, we get heat by this process. A hot utensil kept away from the flame cools down as it transfers heat to the surroundings by radiation. Our body too gives heat to the surroundings and receives heat from it by radiation. So these are the examples of radiation by which the hot utensil gives away the heat, and also our body gives heat to the surroundings, right? All hot bodies radiate heat. When this heat falls on some object, a part of it is reflected, a part is absorbed, and a part may be transmitted. So part of it is let's read full. The temperature of the object increases due to the absorbed part of the heat. So when we keep some utensil or something in sunlight, some part of its heat is absorbed, some will be reflected, and some may be transmitted. So the object gets heated due to the absorbed part of the heat. Kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. You know that in summer we prefer light colored clothes, and in winter we usually wear dark colored clothes. We often use electricity, and so there is a reason why we wear light colored clothes in summer, and also in winter why do we wear dark color clothes and all, because dark color clothes absorb much heat and light color clothes reflects much heat. We often use electricity and fuels like coal and wood to keep our houses cool or warm. This can be done by constructing outer walls of buildings so that they have trapped layers of air. So these kind of techniques are used in Western countries where the temperature is very low. They have to protect themselves from extreme climate like extreme cold and all, so that they will build the house walls in layers. Dark surfaces absorb more heat, and therefore we feel comfortable with dark colored clothes in the winter. Light colored clothes reflect most of the heat that falls on them, and therefore we feel more comfortable wearing them in the summer. Woolen clothes keep us warm in winter. In the winter we use woolen clothes. Wool is a poor conductor of heat. Moreover, there is air trapped in between the wool fibers. This air prevents the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings, so we feel warm. So this is the reason why do we wear woolen clothes. So air prevents the flow of heat. Air is a bad conductor of heat, and it is trapped between woolen fibers. That's why we wear woolen clothes. So what we read, these are the keywords: Celsius scale, conduction, conductor, convection, insulator, land breeze, radiation, sea breeze, temperature, thermometer, right? So let's see the points. Our sense of touch is not always a reliable guide to the degree of hotness of an object. So it is because it depends. If we feel cold, then the object is colder than our body. So it is a relative concept, right? Temperature is a measure of the degree of hotness of an object. Thermometer is a device used for measuring temperatures. Clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. The range of this thermometer is from 35 degrees centigrade to 42 degrees centigrade. For other purposes, we use the laboratory thermometers. The range of these thermometers is usually from -10 degrees centigrade to 110 degrees centigrade. The normal temperature of the human body is 37 degrees centigrade. So these are the points we have already read. The heat flows from a body at a higher temperature to a body at a lower temperature. There are three ways in which heat can flow from one object to another. So that are conduction, convection and radiation. In solids generally the heat is transferred by conduction. In liquids and gases the heat is transferred by convection. No medium is required for transfer of heat by radiation. The materials which allow heat to pass through them easily are conductors of heat. The materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are called insulators. Dark colored objects absorb radiation better than the light colored objects. That is the reason we feel more comfortable in light colored clothes in the summer. Woolen clothes keeps us warm during winter. It is so because wool is a poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers. So these are the important points of this chapter, and this is the end of the chapter. Thank you.